Guessing when a natural disaster will occur is a difficult thing to do, but there's hope. As our technology advances, we're slowly able to better understand the data, allowing us to make more and more accurate predictions. From increasing seismic activity at one of the world's largest and most powerful supervolcanoes to a mega-earthquake ready to strike the Midwestern United States, here are 5 natural disasters that could potentially happen in 2022. Yellowstone National Park is home to more than just beautiful wildlife and geysers. It's also home to the Yellowstone Caldera, also known by a scarier name, the Yellowstone Supervolcano. The Yellowstone Supervolcano is located in the northwest corner of Wyoming. It's 43 by 28 miles across and is the site of many of the largest eruptions in history. The area is a major hotbed of seismological activity. Every year, there are somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 earthquakes. Most of these earthquakes are pretty small and only register as a magnitude 3 or less. Now, the Yellowstone Supervolcano has so many earthquakes that sometimes a bunch happen within a short period of time in an event that's known as an earthquake swarm. In 1985, there were 3,000 earthquakes in just a few months. Even very distant earthquakes have the potential to change its behavior. A 7.3 magnitude earthquake in California caused an earthquake swarm even though it was 800 miles away. A 7.9 magnitude earthquake in Alaska that was 2,000 miles away had an even greater impact. However, the real danger of this supervolcano probably doesn't come from earthquakes, but rather from hydrothermal activity, which happens independently of earthquakes and volcanic activity. Over the last 14,000 years, 20 large craters have been created in the region by hydrothermal activity. Researchers from the United States Geological Survey have recently reported a large increase in the frequency of seismic activity around Yellowstone, leading many people to become quite concerned. Could this site, which is clearly a hotbed of activity, produce a massive disaster in the near future? The New Madrid seismic zone has nothing to do with Spain. It's a major seismic zone and source of earthquakes in the southern and Midwestern United States that stretches southwest from New Madrid, Missouri. Earthquakes that happen in the New Madrid seismic zone have the potential to hit parts of 8 different American states. The United States Federal Emergency Management Agency has issued grave warnings about the zone. They've said that a big earthquake here could be the most economically damaging natural disaster in United States history. Tennessee, in particular, would be badly hit, they predicted. Even a 7.7 earthquake would damage tens of thousands of buildings, mess with the water supply, transportation, and other important infrastructure. Most scientists agree that the possibility for a major earthquake in the New Madrid seismic zone is concerning. In 2009, the United States Geological Survey said that they estimate that there is a 7 to 10% chance of a massive earthquake in the next 50 years. They also said that there's a 25 to 40% chance of a magnitude 6 earthquake in the same time frame, which would also be seriously dangerous. In 2014, they updated their predictions and increased the risk factor. It's possible that this will be the next major disaster to hit the United States. In 1811 and 1812, the New Madrid seismic zone produced a series of intense earthquakes. It began with an initial earthquake of 7.2 to 8.2 magnitude. Then, there was a 7.4 magnitude aftershock on the same day. 2 additional earthquakes of a similar magnitude followed the next months. To this day, they remain the most powerful earthquakes that have ever hit the contiguous United States east of the Rocky Mountains. Could we see a repeat of these events? Yellowstone isn't the only volcano that might erupt sometime soon. There are volcanoes all over the world that are highly active and could blow this year. Mount Shasta in California usually erupts every few hundred years. Originally, it was thought that the last eruption was in the 1700s. But now, some scientists believe that the last eruption was actually way back in the 1200s. That could mean that it's due for a major explosion. Mount Hood in Oregon could also erupt soon, and if it did, would have far-reaching effects. Large amounts of ash and fine particles would shoot high into the atmosphere, causing major problems for the Portland area and widespread power grid failures. Local water could also potentially become unsafe to drink. Now, if we travel out to the Pacific Ocean, we'll find Kilauea in Hawaii, a volcano with even more potential. It is the world's most active volcanic mass. So, it's only fitting that it's the mythological home of Pele, the Hawaiian fire goddess. It continuously spewed lava from 1983 to 2018, and has had many eruptions even as recently as late 2021. According to experts, the volcano will almost certainly erupt or continue to erupt in 2022. Mount Paktu in North Korea may also erupt in the not-so-distant future. It had a huge eruption 1,000 years ago, but has been quiet since. Mostly quiet, that is. It features frequently in North Korean government propaganda. Last year, Kim Jong-un and some of his military leaders rode white horses to the lake at the top of the volcano. It's thought that North Korean nuclear testing could potentially trigger an eruption, and it is doubtful that North Korea has the technology to properly survey and predict the volcano's behavior. The future will most likely have more wildfires than the present does, and there may not be much humans can do to change that. Researchers have found strong correlations between warmer summer temperatures and summers where there are worse fires. So, there's a general consensus that as changes in our climate heat up the whole planet, there will be more wildfires. But hotter and drier weather doesn't automatically mean that there is going to be a fire. It's not as though when the thermometer hits a certain point, things just burst into flames. Something needs to create the spark that actually gets the fire started. In some parts of America, such as Alaska, most wildfires are ignited by lightning. In other places, like California, humans are the most common source of ignition. Climate models predict that summer temperatures will continue to increase, but ignition is a total wild card. In 2021, California had a historically bad wildfire season. In fact, it was the worst wildfire season in recorded history, even with very noteworthy activity in years prior. The year that had held the record before this was 2020, so clearly things are getting worse in a hurry. 3 times as many acres were burned in 2021 than were burned in 2020. Drought, extreme heat, and a reduced amount of snow in the mountains were all contributing factors to the severity of the year's fires. With the way things are going, it's likely that there will be many more fires in 2022. Hurricanes or typhoons happen every year in many parts of the world. But, like wildfires, they're probably going to keep getting worse as a result of our ever-changing climate. There's evidence to suggest that in recent years, hurricanes have gotten more intense. Weather models have predicted that because ocean levels and temperatures are rising, this is a pattern that will continue going forward. This is because the ingredients that lead to hurricanes are all affected by climate change. Hurricanes need high humidity, relatively constant winds at different altitudes, and surface ocean temperatures that are above 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Hurricanes are powered by the rising of warm, moist air from the ocean. Warm air holds more water vapor than cold air. Since air temperatures have been rising, this means that the level of water vapor in the air has risen as well. This increase in moisture in the air provides hurricanes with additional fuel that they need. As ocean temperatures continue to rise, there is also less cold ocean water below the surface. This sort of cold water can serve as a braking mechanism for hurricanes, and if there's none of it there, then hurricanes are free to do whatever they want. When it is there, powerful storm winds will churn it up, and the cooler water can weaken the storm. There's also another factor that's unrelated to climate change that could make future hurricanes worse. Much worse, in fact. More people live by the coast now than they did in the past. About 40% of people in the United States live in coastal counties. That's a lot more people within hurricane range than there used to be. And the more people who live near the ocean, the more potential there is for destruction. Predicting when a natural disaster will occur is a tricky, maybe almost impossible thing to do. Try as we might to study data and create new technology, the truth is, Mother Nature is an unpredictable beast. As our climate goes through its changes, experts believe weather will continue to get more severe. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, then be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.